Good afternoon and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures. I'm live on Instagram. There, I'll get it right in a minute. I am live on YouTube for a bit, where I will be talking and doing a bit of unboxing, well, post-unboxing of a little order I put into Great Escape Games. Now, I put in the order to Great Escape Games for other gaming-related, other modelling work-related stuff. But as they also stock the very lovely May 40 European Dutch models, I thought I would bulk the order out with a few of those, bearing in mind that I'd already got these for much the same reason. This is one of them that I painted and finished earlier. And I basically wanted some more. And they'll be used for demos, and they'll be used for shows, and they'll be used for me to practice painting them so I can sell them on the Etsy shop, which is also part of the plan. The thumbnail for this is also another pair of them. It's not the world's best picture of this chappie, who is the Lewis Gunner running forwards. And this chappie, who is the section sergeant for the group. I've decided I'm going to be using the little bits of colour on the bases, which are meant to be low-growing flowers, but are actually foam, to tell me which unit which section they're in. First platoon will be yellow, with other colours depending on the section. I'm deciding what the other colours are going to be, but there'll be potential flower-looking colours. Anyway, those are those for the moment. But what arrived today were these, and what I'm proposing to do with these are basically two different sections, 12 figures each. With different Lewis Gunner positions, basically. That one's walking along. These are others. I'll be basing them on these, which are Renedra 25mm round bases, and all I'll be doing initially is, well, on camera, is filing the bottom of the bases so they fit. I need an officer for this, but the officers are out of production at the moment because there is a new and better version of this, these models on the way, probably for release after the KNLI thing. The KNLI Kickstarter is live again, and anybody that wants a late order for them can do it then. You just go to the May 40 website, and you will gallantly take your order. I'm severely resisting the temptation to expand my order because I backed the Kickstarter and it's getting a bit difficult, but I've got things I need to buy for the business which are a priority, and this was naughty enough as it was, but I have a use for them and a demonstration, and we'll get some books on banter gaming out of this and demo games and things. Anyway, that's the first one of these. They're not labelled because this is the generic packaging that comes in mail order rather than a blister as you might probably get with if you actually went into a shop and bought it. This is what they look like. And like most figures with puddle bases, they have a little bit of a filler thing on there, and you get one of these and you give it a bit of a flatten. Don't worry about sawing them off because it's more trouble than it's worth as a general rule, and all you actually need to do is to make it blend in. They stick to plastic very well with a little dose of super glue. So be aware, the super glue isn't actually terribly sticky, initially at least. and I've put some on one base and I've put too much on the base, so I'm using it as a, as I say, when I get a camcorder, I'll probably do this on camcorder. But again, that's one of the things that I'm saving money for, as well as having a better photography. Now these are basically the same poses as the original set, but a different mix of them. The sergeant is basically still the guy pointing with his right hand around a rifle. One of the aims of the new set is to give a bit more variety of pose. All of May 40's other ranges, oh right, and this is the one, it's actually the same as the one I've already got. I thought they were going to be slightly different, but I'm not going to moan, they're lovely models, and basically this is half of a want. Eventually the plan is to get enough for a large COC game, which means you're talking about half companies. So you'll be talking about 2 platoons. This, barring the officer, is 1 platoon. In chain of command terms, that's 34 models, but this is 36 models, and I will rework the points value, the platoon rating, using the chain of command calculator to reflect that. And again, they're very much the same set of poses. And as I say, I wasn't going to be complaining about not getting exactly what I ordered. Typical metal figure, slightly bent barrel. It's a nice, slightly leaded metal, so you can, so it's easy and it's fun to straighten. Whereas the hard pewter ones always give you the jeeblies, because when you're bending them, you hear this little crunching noise as the crystals in the hard material grind against each other. My hearing may be going slightly, but I can definitely still hear that. If you don't get these flat, they don't stick to the bases properly. You don't need to do anything elegant with the filing, you just need to flatten them. So that's the first squad done, first section done. So I'm going to give them a few seconds off to one side before I get the next lot up. As I say, the new ones will be better in that there will be much more variety of posing in them, and I will most certainly mix them together so you get a better. This is the second. Section. Push those out. I get that's for the machine gun, the lowest gun. I might have to fiddle about with those a little bit more. This guy is a kneeling rifleman, which is a pose you've not seen before. Again, I've just shined the bottom off with file. Need to get some more files actually. I got those, in fact I got all my files of that sort from Wilco, and unfortunately Wilco don't exist anymore. So I'm going to have to go looking for some Warding files, and probably a wire brush, because that's mostly what's wrong with my files, is they're pinned, which is what it's called when material is stuck in the weave of the file and blocking it up, which makes it a worse file. Files where you can't sharpen files, but you can clean the debris out of them, and that's either soft metal or, in my case, mostly milliput, because I did a bit of filing in milliput with these, and it's not agreed with them very much. It's blunted them off a bit. Now, the interesting thing I want to check is whether or not this actually fits on a 25mm base. It does. Slightly. We're probably going to need some filing afterwards to get the corners off, but that's a test fit. So I don't have to faff around and dig out warlord bases or chop great lumps off. And this gets glued. This is number 2 for the Lewis gunner, who's going to have to go on one of those warlord bases. He's prone, but we'll do him last. So I have to go on a warlord base, or he's going to have to go on a warlord cavalry base. Just pop them together. As I say, this is the Lewis gunner. This is Lewis gunner in the lying down firing position. Not my favourite position, to be honest, as they're always more work to paint and faff around with than I like. Also, it looks very strange to have a unit advancing across the field with their support light machine gunner prone. So I wish more people would do firing from the hip or moving, because they would. It was done. Dutch didn't do it that much because they had the big magazine on the Lewis gun, and it had a tiny tendency to jam. So they tended to move, then fire. That one can go to one side because I've got glue on the one side of it. There are 2 sides to these bases, by the way. It took me ages to work it out. There's a side with a bit of texture on it, which is the bottom, and then there's a side that's smooth, which is where you glue stuff to. The other thing that I could use with these, rather than the warlord bases, I could quite happily use the also the mix of figures is such that you've got more people sort of stopping to fire. And again, that's got a little bit of a bent bayonet. I will sort that out, like the bent end on the rifle, which I will sort out when I've got a good chance, because I'm not wearing my modelling glasses, so I don't want to be faffing around with tiny small details. At which point, why did I put my modelling glasses on? Can't get the manual now, as you can. This is 3.5, and this is, I think, 4 on top of it. So that's very blurry, but right close up, it's good detail vision. Again, apart from the kneeling pose, all the rifleman poses are ones I've shown you before, like this guy. And of course the prone poses. The guy that's prone here will need a bit of work because there's a tiny bit of flash between his bayonet and his leg, which is going to have to go. As you can see, he's the number 2 for the machine gun. And these are just little bits that have fell out, which are used to help drain. Make sure metal fills bits at the end of tied into narrow things like rifles and that sort of thing. This is another one I'm going to need to get exactly right on the base, because it only just fits as I showed you last time. And if it sticks over the edge, it's not that much of a problem. You can just file it a bit. I've got him on properly again. And the sergeant is again same pose as the one in the other 2 sections. And we have a selection of prone figures. Right, okay, so how are we going to work these? How are we going to do those? And that obviously is the Lewis gun thing. that got it. I need a knife, but I didn't bring a knife over. So I'm going off to fetch a knife, if nobody minds. I've got those glasses on, right? Because I can't see them through wearing them. Back. And there's a tiny little bit of flash there. Now some of this I will leave because it is very definitely you could, if you're obsessive, file it out. But I think I can actually hide it the same way I could a base. Right, that's going to need a bit of chopping off the tip. A little bit of faffing around. And there's what looks like flash under there, but it isn't actually flash. It looks like there's a little bit more flash at the other end of the rifle. So that's the thing with cleaning up. Sometimes you can spend an awful long time cleaning up stuff which is actually supposed to be there. Again, because these are prone and cut and cleaning off the base of the another thing I could do with this GoPro for looking at stuff from, because the sign I'm looking down poses quite a bit. So I've got some Royal bases over here. Have I got any more Royal Cavalry bases? And this pile of bases off the side. I've got one, which means I can, that's a rifle, which means I can get him to, is he actually big enough? One I'm probably going to have to get more, because I've got more of those bases. So forgive me, because I've quite so many prone figures in. I'd only track for there being one. Those other ones. Right. Welcome to my life with the organisation of the living I'm suffering from at the moment, but I cannot find anything. It would appear that I can potentially tidied up and put away some of the other bases that I was intending to use, and they are not immediately accessible. This is what one will call in trade annoying and inconvenient and a confounded nuisance and stuff like that. So I may very well have to go and find those off camera and fix that then. What's this? This is why I want my place organised to the fact so I can find stuff. It's not finding stuff is vexatious and annoying, and did I mention vexatious and annoying? A bit more like that. So I could rest those more bases. Anyway, I think you probably get the point by now. This is me doing a bit of basing, and I'll finish those off camera, and I will then be painting them next week. Because, as I say, this weekend is going to be a little busy with the adventure, and also, I suspect, early next week with catching up and finishing off a couple of orders that I've got going. Anyway, thank you very much for now, and I will speak to you again Tuesday, if not before. Take care, and goodbye.